literally, when I was trying to make this project, I was like, I wanted to tell a story that hopefully it will be good and interesting for people to watch, and I wanted to make it in Iraq. That was my only hope. Everything just follows. So my goal was to make an interesting story, interesting film that the audience around the world will be able to watch. This is a story that goes beyond the headlines you have in that newspaper. Because you hear about 500,000 to 1 million children died in the sanctions in Iraq. But those 500,000 to 1 million, they were humans. And they had stories, and they had dreams, and they had struggle, and they had love, and they had kindness, and they had all of that. They were humans. So headlines don't say that. They usually just put them as a number, as a mathematical equation. And the fact you put it that way, it tells so much how much you don't care about those people. I wrote the script during the pandemic, and then we applied to Sundance Labs. The writing of the script was much easier in the sense of like, because the script is very much inspired by my childhood in Iraq and my memories as a child. Then I applied to Sundance Lab, and it was a very much also a meaningful lab for the film and for the script. It was very, very, very helpful for me as a filmmaker. There I met a couple of my mentors who joined the film later and became my EPs. So it felt very much a supporting environment and for artists. And you know, a film made in Iraq, fully shot in Iraq, that was one of the things I was very much insisting on, is to have the film being shot fully in Iraq with non-actors, with kids, animals, all that. Is not very, you know, it's not an invitation to invest in the film. It's a lot of risk. So we had that, you know, resistance from some people who believe that it is hard, it's too risky for them. But I think now the risk has, you know, has been rewarded too.
بيبي أنا أبقى وياك.
بيبي بلا زحمة. حازم يريد يشتقي تقعاني.
The film was funded by individuals. Some of them were US individuals, some of them were Iraqi individuals. If anything, cinema is universal. And it tells you that stories are universal, it brings people together. I started watching the films on VHS tapes, and I visited Asia, Europe, US through films. Films were my passport for visiting different cultures, seeing all. I didn't have passport to travel all the way. So films became that passport for me to visit all these places. And at the same time, I think this is a film, you know, that's universal in its themes, in its approach, and it brings audience from different background, even very different, US and Iraqi, to support a film that talks about a point in history that tackles the involvement of US and the dictatorship in Iraq.
من الصبح يا فتاح يا رزاق.
5 بيضات.
ايه.
كيلو طحين.
We had a permit, but we were worried about it because we had reaction, people's reaction, because some people would really be emotionally charged when they see that and, you know, ask questions. Why is this, you know, like, what are you guys doing? You know, be suspicious of us. But when you talk to them and be like, oh, this is a film about this period and, you know, all that. So they, you know, calm down. But like, we have people who were very excited, for example, when we finish a scene or something, to be like, okay, we're done with this mural, or like, you know, then it gets destroyed immediately. People start throwing things. So it's still like, you know, people have very much charged emotions about Saddam and that period. Making a film is difficult in general, you know, but like making a film in Iraq was a bit more challenging in the sense of like, we like the resources, the infrastructure, you know, lots of the things that are available in other places. But, you know, all of that made everything, in a way, at the end more rewarding. I feel like because we went through so many things, from wars or, you know, dictatorship or that, so our defense mechanism became dark humor, you know, otherwise you cannot survive. So I feel like it's just naturally kicked in because of the situations that we went through. So you cannot see a tragedy unless you make a comical joke to accept it, at least to make yourself livable, you know, because if you cannot accept that, you almost cannot live anymore in the world, you know what I mean? So I think that's a defense mechanism that lots of people, not only in Iraq, I think I noticed that to exist with people who had dictatorship, that they develop some sense of dark humor. And I think that's just because it's a mechanism for them to allow living and being normal. It feels like a dream to have the world premiere there, then getting the first award for in cinema Iraqi history from Cannes. It feels very much like a dream come true, you know. But it also brings so much responsibility, and now being here feels like another dream coming true, you know. It has been a great experience. The festival feels really, you know, warm in their welcome, and you know they made a very warm welcoming to us, to the film, to the team, and you know you feel the hospitality of the festival, not only the festival but also of the people in San Sebastian and Spain in general. So it's very enthusiastic and you know heartwarming feeling that it gives you to come here and feel all this love for cinema.